What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another guide on the channel. It's been a while. I've been away from RuneScape because I felt like exploring some other options in terms of streaming. As most of you guys know, the creation of RuneScape videos goes a long way. It takes a lot of time, and at the time I felt like I could use that a lot better by exploring other games and see if there was something there for me. And I think there was. I now also have added World of Warcraft and a variety of horror games plus Sea of Thieves to my roster that I play with some friends, resulting in basically a part-time streaming job kind of thing, I guess. On top of that, I switched jobs. I now work from home, which means I have a lot more time on my hands. And well, because I now stream part-time, I can also put some more time into the RuneScape videos, including a new group hardcore series, which is coming to you guys very soon. I encourage you guys to check me out on twitch.tv/LionLadTV. It's a lot of fun to see what we do over there, and well, we have been smashing it when it comes to the group hardcore series. Now that I did this insanely long intro, I felt like it was needed for a comeback. Let's get into this guide. Juke is one of the 4 Desert Treasure 2 bosses, and in my opinion, the easiest, but also a bit tedious when it comes to preparation. Juke is a melee boss where you will have to get 2 types of mushroom, bring them to the barrels in the middle, and a bit of salt that you'll have to mine as well, and then you can wake him up by using those potions on him. Now that sounds like a long prep, and trust me, it is. But I have a better way. I promised you a trick in my Vardorvis guide, which I recommend checking out as well. Link will be in the description. We're doing, instead of a full prep, you grab 6 mushrooms, grind them with a pestle and mortar, and feed them instantly to the Juke. This could be click intensive, so if you want to AFK, you can just do the full prep as shown. This is perfect for speedrunners, and a huge one to use for your Grandmaster Speedrunner achievement. Now, I do like to note that this is not a guide to your Grandmaster Speedrunner achievement, so if you're looking for that, I recommend going elsewhere for that, because I don't even have it myself. So yeah, we have prepared 2 gear setups for you, pretty similar to Vardorvis. You will see them in the screen right now. I recommend maxing whatever you can for the fight, because it can take forever if you don't have, the sight, for instance. I know that most players cannot get that, but yeah, it's also a Grandmaster quest, so we will focus mostly on that. If you don't have a sight, like I said, you can use Arclight. The fight will just take a lot longer. Saying that, we haven't mentioned it yet, but at the time of making this video, there was no such thing as Emberlight, which we will come by a little bit later. Thralls are recommended as well, as the chip damage they do is pretty nice to add on your own damage. So, for a nice middle ground, you can use Bandos. Max people will probably use Torva, and if they're not there yet, or an Iron Man most likely, they can use Tank Barrows gear. Now think about Thorax or think about Darox. Scythe or Arclight are for the most part your options. There's also a Soul Reaper axe, but I personally don't really like it because you take damage on your own. You can use the BGS as a spec weapon or Void Waker. That is really up to you. I recommend the BGS because it lowers its damage. As a side note, you can also use a Blade of Seldor as an alternative, and this is mostly for Iron Man out there, as they are grinding the CG prison most likely for a while to get the bow, and maybe they will go for the Blade of Seldor as well. It's a very decent weapon. For the boot slot, it will be the Dragon Boots or Primordial Boots. You could go as far as going into the Mountain Climber boots, but I would definitely not recommend it. Blood Fury or Normal Fury, Glory if you're really pushing it, are needed for the neck piece. When it comes to the cape slot, Fire Cape or Infernal Cape. I don't think there's any other option in that one when it comes to this fight, because, you know, you have to do this quest, and surely you will have at least a Fire Cape. If not, bring a Mythic Cape, I guess. Or Skill Cape for that matter. You need to bring a Blessing, or if you have done the Grandmaster Achievement Diary, you can go for Gomod's Lucky Penny, which basically means there's a 5% chance to not use a charge whenever you're damaging. So that counts for a Serp Helm, counts for a Scythe, and an Arclight. For the ring slot, we go for a Berserker Ultra or Bellator ring, ranked 3rd to 1st. As I like to switch as well, you need to bring a Light Bearer for in between the kills. I mean, I say you need to, you don't really have to, but if you want to get that spec up before the next fight, you can bring a Light Bearer just for in between getting the mushroom and feeding the Juke, because you might actually still have that 50% every single time that you finish the kill. Barrels gloves are fine, ferocious gloves are best in slot. This is basically for all melee combat unless you want more defense. I mean, for that matter, you can use Barrow's gloves because they at least have better damage. But I do really recommend bringing Ferocious. For the helm slot, people like to go for Serp Helm, unless on task of course, then you go for the Slayer Helm for additional poison damage. You don't need to, and if you don't want to, totally fine, you can go for Torva, the Natisnot face guard, or normal Natisnot. At the making of this video, as I mentioned earlier, there was no Ember Light. So that's a notable one to bring, which is in fact rated second best in slot next to the Soul Reaper axe. It is also recommended to bring runes for Death Charge, gain energy back after a kill basically, alongside the runes for Thralls. These runes are soul runes. I would bring smoke runes, blood, cosmic, and a death rune. Then you have all the runes you need. Don't forget a super combat potion, Book of the Dead, don't forget that, most people forget it and have to go back. Potential pickaxe if you do the normal method, an escape tablet, and a ring of shadow to teleport to the Juke. If you don't have this unlocked yet, you need to get the tablet from the Juke by killing him. You might need to bring a teleport method to Weiss, and then get in the Muspa tunnel, going straight forward instead of turning a right to the prison. So yeah, that is that. Now that's the gear setup. Now the fight itself, that's pretty simple. You basically slap Juke, hide behind the pillar, wait for the next attack, and repeat. This sentence is longer than that action actually is. It's literally hit, hide, come back, hit. That's how it goes. And you will get a rhythm, and it will grow on you eventually once you do those fights. However, there's a few mechanics. Juke will at some point look at the room with his big eyes. Well, with one big eye. If you have the sound effect on, you will hear a little squeaky noise as well, where you will have to hide behind the pillar as shown in this clip. If you don't do that, you will take massive damage, which could be lethal. Now note that once the ice barrage sound is played, you can already get away from the pillar and hit him once. That way you can skip the first attack. But be wary, you have to click instantly back, otherwise you get slapped. Protect from melee is advised, as the chip damage could be a lot as well. You won't negate it all, but you know, you will bring it down massively. The other mechanic is that he spits a green toxin towards the player's position, letting the vent deal damage as you've seen when you were getting the mushroom. Whilst the player stands on it, of course, you simply have to run to the other side. Once you do that, you're fine. But you need to do it in time. As soon as you see the spit come out, you have to run, because otherwise you're going to take damage. And that will cut in your profits, because obviously this boss, just like all the other Desert Treasure 2 bosses, if you get hit by damage that is avoidable, it will not be a perfect kill anymore, and it will cut in your profits. So now the next phase is when he's enraged, and that usually happens when he's slightly around half HP, a little bit above. I don't really know the number there perfectly, but yeah, around half HP. His attack speed will go up, and the vents, instead of one, he will now affect 2 vents. So it is very important that once he does that vent attack, you move instantly. You can hit him in between the run, but make sure to be on the other side of the pillar before the vents being hit. So that's it for the Juke. Like I said, in my opinion, it's the easiest boss out of the all 4. It's just a massive pain to prepare for. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you Asterix for editing, and I will see you next time. Don't forget to check me out on twitch.tv/LionLadTV. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next time.